Welcome to USA Global TV and Radio, where our mission is to provide education, entertainment, hope, and inspiration. USA Global TV and Radio connects you with experts and audiences all around the world every single day to help you succeed in business and to live a richer life. Visit us at usaglobaltv.com to learn about career and life-changing training and mentoring programs like the Listening Mentor. Subscribe to our newsletter to stay informed about our special programs and offers. Discover how you can become a guest on one of our shows or a host or producer of a USA Global TV and Radio show of your very own. That's USA Global TV and Radio, where the doctor is always in.
Welcome, everyone, to USA Global TV and Radio. Welcome to our viewers worldwide, our viewers on Roku, Amazon Fire, and of course, our loyal viewers we've had for 2 years on Facebook, YouTube, and LinkedIn. We are so thrilled to have you. Our show, UK News and Culture, episode 117. I can't believe it. It's so exciting. Wherever you are in the world, I hope your day is filled with peace and love, and I'm so happy you're here with us today. Dr. JACALYN, the founder of USA Global TV and Radio and the host of the show, is out on important business, and our fabulous team member, HELENA CHARD, is out on assignment. Our fantastic team member from Scotland, the fabulous chef, author, speaker, a man in the know regarding the UK and, of course, Scotland, which I know is part of the UK, but I like to say the name Scotland. It's such a gorgeous country. So let's bring him out here. Simon, welcome.
Hello. Oh, Dan, it's lovely to be back. My goodness, it's been a bit sort of shrinking on people today. But there we are. But we've got a good full schedule on today. So that's it.
You always have fabulous. Yeah, you always have fabulous presentations. So I will be excited about that. But since you are holding the fort down, before we dive into all those news, do you have any news about what's going on in your writing world? Or maybe you're doing something exciting, cooking up, or letting the world know in Scotland how to run the country?
Well, I'm always doing something. You know me well by now that, always doing million and one different things, and filling my day and trying to find sleep time in the evening if I can. It's just life's a breeze. I look forward to a Monday morning, and that's it. And so every day after that just gets better and better and better. So yeah, it's been busy old week here, and I've actually been enjoying some lovely sunshine. It's summer seems to have arrived early here this year, and long may it continue. We had such a wet, miserable, cold, bleak, dank, dark winter, and it just seemed to go on and on and on. So the sun's come out. I've just told everybody, another 10 months of the sunshine, we'll be happy and just about make up for the lost time.
But I'm going to stop you there for a second. And just so our viewers know who've never been to Scotland, he was describing winter, just to remind you, because you have to have all that beautiful rain, winter, whatever you want to call it, in order to have the beauty of Scotland, right?
Absolutely, yes. I mean, the grass here is so unbelievably green. You just about need to get the special glasses on to try and filter it down a little bit. I remember I lived in South Africa for 5 years, and I sort of got used to it there. The climate there was absolutely beautiful. But when I came back to Scotland, suddenly I was hit with this vivid green of the grass. And I thought, wow, was it always like that? Well, apparently it was. So, so that's, the rain has its place, it does its job and so on. And if it rains at night, and the sun comes out during the day, it's a pretty good arrangement to have.
That is a great arrangement. There's nothing like sleeping through a rainstorm.
Yes, so long as you haven't got the thunder with it.
This is true. This is so true. And now is a good time to come visit Scotland, correct?
Oh, I always reckon that May and September are probably the two best months here. May in particular, because the sun's generally out. It's usually lovely weather. There's not too many people about. Although having said that, we've just had a bank holiday weekend, and the place has been absolutely heaving with people. Great, we need the money, but May's nice, and we haven't got our secret weapon, which is the Highland midge. And the Highland midge, it's the equivalent of a mosquito, but it's only about 1/10 of the size of a mosquito, but it's got 100 times the bite of the mosquito as well. So they can be sort of pesky little things. And the secret is to try and tolerate them, because as soon as you kill one, 100 turn up to the funeral. So,
oh my gosh, that's a funny way to put it.
There we are. So yes, and the midge. Going back in time and history, the Highland midge was used as an instrument of torture in the Jacobite rebellion days. That if a Jacobite caught an English soldier and was wanting to extract information, he'd strip him naked and tie him to a tree, because within 30 minutes you literally go insane. So they get all the information they wanted. So there we are. So it's our own homegrown weapons of mass destruction.
Oh my gosh, I can't think of anything more miserable than that. I mean, one mosquito bite and I'm just...
Yes. And the thing is, the midge is so small, and it doesn't make that really worrying buzz, the muzzy makes, and it's just terrifying being in a room at night, and then you get that sudden buzz, you're in trouble then.
Yeah.
But the midges don't. Well, they're the original stealth beasties, and they come up totally unannounced, and they'll get you. But May's generally fine for them. Even most of June's all right. You just about when the big bulk of the tourists start to come up, that's when the midges come as well. They know, they've got their calendars, they've got their watches, and they know exactly where to go.
They're bloodthirsty time, right?
Oh, and how they're very hungry by that time.
Oh my goodness. So do you have any exciting news over there across the pond for you? And would you say across the pond in London?
Yeah, well, in London, Londonshire, just in the deep south to us, there's Prince Harry is over here just now, and he's been snubbed twice in the last 24 hours. He's over here, so he's attending a dinner for the Invictus Games. This is the 10th anniversary of the Invictus Games, which he's patron of. So he's over here for that. He wanted to see King Charles, his father, naturally enough, but snub number one came along, and King Charles is too busy. He's obviously got all his his cancer treatment going on just now, but also today he's hosting a garden party at Buckingham Palace. So he's very, very busy. And I mean, Harry, he should know exactly the score there when it comes to getting an audience or being able to see any member of his family, because their schedules are booked up more than a year in advance. So, and there's been a lot of hurried rescheduling and so on, obviously, because the King with his cancer treatment, and also with Princess Catherine with hers as well. So that was snub number one, that he was denied the opportunity to see the King. And snub number two came along when King Charles has announced and made Prince William the Colonel-in-Chief of the Army Air Corps. That regiment was actually Prince Harry's regiment, and he was Colonel-in-Chief of it. But now it's been handed over to Prince William because Prince William is here. And Harry's not here, so he's decided he's taking up full-time residency in America, and that's it. He's meeting, after he leaves here, he's going to Nigeria, and he's meeting Meghan and the kids over there. Meghan has vowed that she will not set foot in the UK again. So, well, there we are. It's sad that, but I suppose that's families. These things happen. So, on the other side as well, I'm sort of looking. Princess Anne is, she's an incredible person, and she is, without a doubt, the busiest of all the royals. And I was just looking at her schedule, and tomorrow she has 6 engagements tomorrow, mostly in Portsmouth area. The main one is with the HMS Victory Conservation Project, of which she's patron as well. And of course, HMS Victory is the oldest ship in the Royal Navy, and she was the Admiral Lord Nelson's flagship at the Battle of Trafalgar, where Nelson got shot on the deck. So that ship is still in existence, and absolutely magnificent ship. And you go aboard that, and either the people were very, very small then, or they built the ships in such a way that you really had to sort of crawl along like that and stoop low below decks. Very, very cramped, but quite a magnificent ship. And it's just so nice to see this kind of heritage still sitting there in existence. She doesn't go to sea anymore, obviously, but she's open to the public, and just absolutely magnificent. So she's that's her main engagement tomorrow, plus another engagement in the evening for a dinner for HMS Victory as well at the Royal Naval Base at Portsmouth. So she's very, very busy, and it's if you look at the schedules every day, she is just working. There's not many people that I would know of that have got that kind of energy and stamina to keep that up all day long, just virtually 7 days a week. I mean, it's incredible, her stamina. So that's her. The Duke and Duchess of Edinburgh. I had to sort of think there, because I still haven't quite got the head around that title. Always, and look at their as the Wessexes. They're stepping up to the plate as well to fill in the gaps as well, and being kept extremely busy. And of course, Prince William, he's just on the go all the time as well, and being by Kate's side and looking after her and the kids too. So a lot happening for the royal family just now. So that's poor Harry has been snubbed twice. So there we are. Maybe he will learn. In Scotland, Well, in Scotland today, we've got a new First Minister, which is the equivalent of our Prime Minister. And thank you for putting Scotland as a country on its own. We are, and proud of it too. So John Swinney, who has in the past, he's been the Deputy First Minister under Nicola Sturgeon. He's held several ministerial posts, including education was one of his big posts that he held. And he has gone in really unopposed to be First Minister since Hamza Yusuf resigned. And he's a very, very good, very capable person to do it. And I would like to think that he will pull the government, Scottish government around, and will get things back on track again, and everything's going. So as we speak, he's sitting in Bute House in Edinburgh. I'll be going past that door there very shortly. I've got a meeting in the Scottish Parliament in about a week's time.
Wow.
And so he's there, and he's shuffling his cabinet. I don't think he's going to make a lot of changes there. I think the likes of Marie Goujon, who is my main contact there, and she's the Minister for Fisheries and the Environment, Land Reform, and the islands as well. So she's a busy girl. She's doing the job extremely well. Kate Forbes, who was to be in the running for First Minister, but she decided in the end, no, John Swinney, she thought was probably the better man. So she has been given the role as Deputy First Minister. So, and I think she deserves it as well. She was the Finance Minister or Chancellor equivalent for a while, and she did a good job there as well. So she's very, very capable, and I think she'll do well. And I think John in particular, I've met him a few times, exceptionally nice person, but he's strong as well, and he's got a great way with people. So I think he will pull us out the mire, shall we say? So there we are. So that's the political and royal roundup for today. Last week there's been big elections on local authority elections in England. The two main parties, we've got the Conservatives and Labour, are really the two main parties in the UK, and the Labour really actually got quite a landslide, taking most of the council seats, and the Conservatives lost an awful lot of seats. The Conservative Party, in actual fact, was the only party to lose seats in total. Whereas the Labour Party gained, the Independents gained, and the Green Party gained, and the Liberal Democrats, they all gained. So they all took these votes off Conservatives. Prime Minister's question time was just 4 hours ago, and I'm trying to remember her name now, one of the Conservative ministers came into the chamber, and instead of going to her seat in the Conservative side of the House, she went over to the Labour side and sat behind Sir Keir Starmer. So she's nailed her flag to the mast, her colours to the mast, well and truly. So she is the second person within 2 weeks to have defected from the Conservatives over to Labour as well. So Prime Minister Rishi Sunak has got a bit of thinking to do now, as well as to where do we go from here? What are we going to do? Everybody's paying for blood and wants a general election, and so on and so on and so on. But he doesn't see a problem somehow. He's willing to stick it out as long as he possibly can. So we shall see.
I think what's great about him is that, if I understand correctly, because of his love of Scotland, his knowledge of Scotland, his working in Parliament, that history and knowledge will help him look at this massive puzzle and figure out how can we bring us together for success. Would that be a good way to put it?
That's John Swinney we're talking about. Yes. I think that's that's exactly it. He's got the experience, and and I think he's been formulating plans over the years, really. But as they say, a week in politics is a long time. So everything changes, and it changes sort of on the hour, every hour. So, and they all talk about, oh, yes, we've got a long-term plan. That doesn't happen in politics. I mean,
That's right.
things change and evolve.
That red phone rings, and there you go.
That's it. So all sorts of things prop up. So long-term plans are really a bit fictitious.
Yeah.
That's how
And
I see it.
just real quickly before we go, your presentation in regards to Harry, I don't know if you recall, but when he and Meghan got on the airplane to come to the United States, remember he held up the sign, "We're free"? I'm wondering if he regrets that now. Because
I mean, this is
it's,
and then he expects everything to be hunky dory when he comes back. I mean, it's just he's really he's his own worst enemy, I think, really, when it comes to it.
There's a wonderful old movie, you might recall it, you're younger than I, but it was a black and white movie called The Prince and the Pauper. I'm afraid he's discovered what the Pauper is. With the exception, he still must have a lot of money coming in for being able to fly around still. But anyway.
Did you just say that I'm younger than you? Goodness gracious, that's really... I doubt it. I'm not even going to go down that route. Age to my mind, it's a number that just denotes the experience.
Oh man, I agree completely. Anyway, I think you have a great presentation for us, correct? You want to fill us in?
Yes. Well, I mean, I've been going down the route of history and mystery for the last few weeks, and it's every time I do a show, I come off and I think, must go and have a wee look at this. So I delve into the research on it and find something else and find something else. And there's one that's been playing in my mind for quite a long time. And it's about the selkies. Now, not everybody knows exactly what selkie is, so this shall really explain it all to you. But this, I wonder now, are we looking at history, mystery, legend, myth? I'll let you make your own minds up. So, selkies, they're mythical creatures that have fascinated people for centuries, and they're known for their ability to shapeshift between a human and a seal form by removing or putting on their seal skin. The selkie legends are rich in history and culture and have been passed down through generations. Stories of selkies often involve tales of love, loss, and the struggle between the human and the animal world. Despite being lesser known than other mythical creatures, selkies have a unique place in folklore and continue to captivate the imagination of people around the world. Selkies are mythical creatures that are mainly associated with the Northern Isles of Scotland, where they're said to live as seals in the sea, but they shed their skin to become a human on land. So the word selkie is derived from the Scottish word sealach, which means seal. In sealach is the Gaelic, of course. And according to legend, selkies lead dual lives as both seals and humans, and they're able to transition between these forms by donning or shedding their sealskin coats. Several tales exist about how selkies came into existence, but a common thread runs through most of them. The roots of selkie mythology can be tracked back to both Celtic and Norse culture. In Norse mythology, there are stories of seal skinners who would transform into seals, while in the Celtic mythology, there are tales of seal women who could transform into humans. Over time, these two traditions have merged, giving rise to the selkie tales that we now know today. So there are many variations of selkie folklore throughout Scotland, Ireland, and Iceland. In some stories, selkies are portrayed as gentle, affectionate creatures who prefer dancing in the moonlight over luring sailors to their death. In other tales, they're dangerous and vengeful and capable of wreaking havoc on those who cross them, a bit like some of the politicians I know. Uncommon theme in selkie folklore is the idea of stolen skin. In many stories, selkies are only able to transform into humans if they have their sealskin coat. And if this coat is stolen or hidden, then the selkie is unable to return to the sea and must remain on land as a human. Now, this idea is often used as a metaphor for the loss of identity or the struggle between one's animal and human nature. Selkies are imagined as seals that can transform into humans, usually beautiful women, In their seal form, selkies are known for their large size and agility, and they have a sleek, streamlined body with a thick layer of blubber that helps them to stay warm in the cold waters. Selkies are also known for their exceptional swimming abilities, which allows them to dive deep into the ocean and to swim for long distances. So when selkies transform into their human form, they retain some of their seal characteristics. They're often described as having a pale complexion and large dark eyes that resemble those of a seal, of course. Now, selkies, also known for their long flowing hair, which is said to be the colour of seaweed or kelp. And in human form, selkies are usually depicted as being very beautiful and alluring, with a captivating voice that can enchant anyone who hears it. Overall, selkies, they're fascinating creatures that have captured the imagination of people for centuries, and their physical characteristics have been the subject of many stories and many, many more legends. The selkies, they're known for their ability to transform between human and seal forms by shedding and recovering their skins, we've already mentioned. Now, according to legend, a selkie can only transform into a human when it sheds its seal skin, but similarly, it can only return to its true form by recovering its own skin. The shedding recovery of the skin is said to be a magical process that allows the selkie to change forms at will. The transformation of a selkie is said to be dependent on certain conditions. For example, it's believed that a selkie can only shed its skin on land, and only when it's alone. And additionally, a selkie can only recover its skin in the same place where it was shed. If its skin is lost or stolen, the selkie is said to be trapped in human form forevermore. Legends also suggest that the selkies are only able to transform at certain times of the year, such as during a full moon or on certain days of the week. The conditions for transformation vary depending on the specific legend or culture in which the selkie is featured. In some stories, selkies are said to be able to transform into human form without shedding their skin, but simply by putting on a special cloak or a garment. Now, these stories often involve selkie women who are kidnapped by human men and forced to marry them. The selkie woman is only able to return to her true form by recovering her skin or her cloak. Overall, the legends surrounding selkie transformation are diverse and fascinating, and they offer a glimpse into the magical world of these mythical creatures and the conditions under which they're able to change form. In many stories, selkies are portrayed as gentle and benevolent beings that are deeply connected to the natural world. And the symbolism of selkies in stories is often associated with themes of transformation, freedom, and love. Their ability to shed their skin and transform into a human represents the idea of change and growth. Additionally, the selkie's connection to the sea and its creatures reflects the importance of nature and the environment in Scottish culture. Many selkie stories also contain important lessons and morals. One of the most common themes is the dangers of greed and selfishness. In many tales, humans who steal the selkie skin coat are punished for their actions, and this emphasizes the importance of respecting nature and its creatures as well. Another common theme is the power of love and the importance of relationships. In many stories, selkies fall in love with humans and must make a difficult choice between their love and their true natural habitat. This highlights the importance of communication and understanding in relationships as well. Overall, selkies have played an important role in Scottish culture and continue to be a beloved mythical creature. Their symbolism and lessons have been passed down through generations, providing valuable insights into the human experience. And selkies have been the subject of many stories and legends throughout history. One of the most famous selkie tales is The Selkie Bride, which tells the story of a fisherman who falls in love with a selkie. And in the story, the selkie is forced to marry the fisherman after he steals her sealskin, which she needs, of course, to return to the sea. So the selkie eventually finds her skin and returns to the sea, leaving the fisherman forever heartbroken. Another well-known selkie story is the great selkie of Sule Skerry, which tells the story of a man who is actually a selkie in disguise. The man impregnates a woman on land, but eventually returns to the sea, leaving the poor woman to raise their child alone. So while selkies are often thought of as mythical creatures, there have been many personal accounts of encounters with selkies throughout history. In some accounts, selkies are said to be friendly and helpful to humans, while in others they're portrayed as mischievous and even dangerous. One personal account from the early 20th century tells the story of a fisherman who encountered a selkie while out at sea. Now, the selkie approached the fisherman's boat and began to speak to him in a language that he didn't understand. The selkie then disappeared back into the sea, leaving the fisherman totally amazed and totally bewildered. Another personal account from the 18th century tells the story of a woman who fell in love with a selkie and had several children with him. The selkie eventually returned to the sea, leaving the woman to raise their children alone. There's little historical evidence to support the existence of selkies, but there are some artifacts and texts that suggest the belief in these creatures. For example, in the Orkney Islands of Scotland, there's a stone carving known as the Selkie Wife that depicts a woman holding a sealskin. This carving is believed to be from the 16th century and is thought to represent the Selkie legend. In addition, there are several texts that mention selkies, including the Orkney Inga saga, a collection of Icelandic sagas from the 13th century. Now, this saga tells the story of a man who falls in love with a selkie and steals her sealskin so she can't return to the sea. Despite the lack of evidence, there are still communities that believe in the existence of selkies, and these communities are mainly found in Scotland, Ireland, and in Iceland as well, where the selkie legend is deeply ingrained in the culture. Many of these communities believe that selkies are shape-shifting creatures that can take on human form and are often associated with the sea. So some believers also associate selkies with the idea of lost love and the search for one's true identity. They see the selkie, a legend, as a metaphor for the struggle to find oneself and the desire to return to one's true nature. While the existence of selkies may be debated, their legend continues to captivate and inspire those who believe in their magic and their mystery. So are we in history? Are we in mystery? Are we in legend? Or is it all a myth?
Wow. I have so many questions. It would take all day for you to answer all of them. That was so fascinating. I'd only heard of mermaids, so this is all a brand new world for me. Are they
Yes.
like cousins?
Well, the mermaids really are reckoned to be quite vicious. They lure sailors to their death at sea.
Okay.
Whereas the selkie is much more friendly. Now, I mean, living on the west coast of Scotland here, we have a lot of grey seals in particular. The grey seal, or its Latin name, Halicorus gryphus, is the larger of the two types of seal we have here, the grey seal and the common seal. The common seal is actually less common. Welcome to Scotland. It's less common than the grey seal. But they, around about sort of end of September and into October, which is the time when the seals they haul out to have their pups, and there are several big colonies of them around Scotland. Some on the west coast here, the Isle of Rona off the north coast, and then through on the other side we've got the Farne Isles on the Northumbrian coast as well. And if you are in the vicinity of one of these colonies at pupping time, and you hear the song of the seal it's actually very moving, and it's very human-like as well. And a young baby seal cries like a baby, and they cry real tears as well. It's amazing creatures. But the song of the seal it's such a haunting howl. I wouldn't even go down the route of trying to mimic it just now. Please don't ask. But it's an incredible haunting sound, and once heard, you will never ever forget it. It's a beautiful sound.
Wow. Okay, so another question I'll throw out to you real quick is: so you mentioned the male impregnated a human and then he went back home to the sea, but does the baby discover it's half and half, kind of like Samantha and Bewitched?
I don't know, I didn't ask it. Yes, well, that's a very good question.
I think that could be a story for you to write.
I think the baby would be an excellent swimmer. But the odd thing is, I mean, those days going back around the Western Isles, most of the fishermen could not swim and refused to learn how to swim as well. So he said, if you're going to go over the side of the boat, why prolong the agony? And that was the general, rule of thumb for the fishing industry up until recent times now, where we've got certification now and they've got to be able to do this, do that. They've got to be fit and they've got to be able to swim and what have you, and they must wear life jackets. So that's it. But before any of that became compulsory, then a lot of the fishermen, they wouldn't swim. And so just for that reason, if they went over the side, the boat takes a long time to turn around and come back, particularly if it's towing a net, then it can't really stop and turn back. So, in the cold waters that we've got around here, who wants to prolong it any longer than you have to?
Well, maybe one of the seals could come and save them and take them to land.
Well, there we are. Is it turned into a selkie or what? I mean, look at those big eyes. That's a typical. That's a male grey seal. That one. It's got this sort of Roman nose. They're quite regal in their own right, but they can get very cross. Their whiskers. They use the whiskers underwater, and they can dive down to incredible depths, and they will. When they dive down, they can stay underwater for about 20 minutes or so. Their heartbeat, which is the same heartbeat as the human, it slows down to about 3 beats per minute. And their main arterial system is about as thick as a man's wrist, down under inside, basically, and it's just everything. The whole system slows right down, and they can stay underwater for incredibly long times. Bone structure of a seal: they have the same number of bones in them as a human being, but they don't have the scapula, the shoulder blades like we have. It's a slightly different shape, but on their flippers. The front ones, they've got 5 fingers, and they've got the fingernails, and they've got as many bones in their hands, so they're quite dexterous. And likewise with the tail flippers as well, which is the equivalent of our feet. They've got the same number of bones there as well, and the vertebrae. It's all the same. So great similarity.
Easy to turn into a human.
Well, it gives gives credence to the legends of the selkies and the seal folk becoming human.
So for our listeners, I would assume there are a lot of books out there you can read about them, and fun stories and mysteries and so forth.
There are. Well, there's just dozens of books, about the selkies and so on. I mean, I'm just sort of thinking to myself just now as we're saying that, is Boomer going to meet a selkie soon, or meet a seal?
I don't think rabbits can swim like that. But the selkie could come on land, right?
Yes, there we are.
That's a really interesting thing for me to ponder over.
Yes, Boomer and the seal folk. Yeah, there we are. Anyway, I suppose we must have a look at On This Day.
Yes, I'm ready for that.
There's actually quite a bit going on many ways today. So on this day, in 1660, the English Parliament proclaims Charles II as king. Now, strangely enough, Monday here was the first anniversary of Charles III's coronation as well. So similarity there as well. History or mystery. In this day, 1945, it's Victory in Europe Day. The German General Wilhelm Keitel formally surrenders to the Allies, represented by the United States, the United Kingdom, France, and the Soviet Union. And we're still speaking to them. For birthdays today, in 1884, Harry Truman, 33rd US President, Democrat from 1945 to 53, and he was born in Lamar in Missouri. Then in 1926, this day 1926, Sir David Attenborough was the English naturalist and television producer and host of BBC Life and the Our Planet series, was born in London. He's 97 today. Happy birthday, Sir David. He's just a legend in his own lifetime. He produces the most incredible wildlife programs. He really is. He's an absolutely amazing person. For deaths, I could only really find one that was particularly significant, and that was in 1903, this day in 1903, the French painter Paul Gauguin. He worked in French Polynesia, and he died at the age of 54. I suppose we could add, and on this day, John Swinney was announced as Scotland's new First Minister. So that's another one for the books.
A lot of important things happened on this day, and I'm glad you added something new. Very good. Well, can you believe we are out of time? Where did it go?
Oh, it always goes fast when you're enjoying yourself. It really does. It's yeah. There we go.
Well, I know I do, as well as everyone else, appreciate all the knowledge you bring to us and the information that's going on across the pond, meaning the Atlantic, for those who are like, what does across the pond mean? And it's always so fascinating. And you have such a beautiful country, and I'm so proud that the United States and the UK share some history together. We're basically cousins in many ways.
Well, I think everybody in America seems to claim being related to either a Scotsman or to an Irishman, one of the two. And certainly that's the case in your neighbours in Canada as well. I mean, there's so many Scottish places there and Scottish names. But that dates back to the time of the Highland clearances, when the landowners were wanting more room for sheep on their land. So the crofters and people who've been there for centuries were deported over to the States.
I did not know that.
Yeah, and this is why there are so many Mackenzies in particular, and MacDonalds and all the other clan names in America and in Canada.
Well, there you go. Another piece of news.
So, you heard it all here.
So before you go, would you like a final thought to share with our...
Yes, I think keeping on the historical note partly, yesterday is history, tomorrow is mystery, so today is a gift, and that's why we call it the present.
I love everything you share with us. It's so fantastic. Well, thank you so much for being with us. I hope your day is filled with many blessings, and have a great day.
Yes, well, of course, we're at 5 o'clock here in the evening now, so it's time to sit back, put the feet up, a glass of wine, and relax.
Well, you do that. In the meantime, we're starting our day, so
yes,
I will discover what's in store for me.
Well, I'm in the future, so anything you want to know, just ask.
I'll do that. Thank you again so much, and have a great day.
Okay, and we'll see everybody next week as well. And we'll see our viewer next week as well.
Yes, that's true. Well, I just adore Simon MacDonald. And actually, I love everybody on our team. Helena, we miss you. I hope you're having a great day. And Dr. JACALYN, you work magic. We wouldn't even have the show if it wasn't for your inspiration to even go after your dreams and make USA Global TV and Radio a dream come true, not just for us, for you, but for all of us. You've given us a platform, and we really appreciate you. I want to also thank you, everyone who's watching today. Thank you for joining us, and thank you to Amazon, Roku, and Sizzle. We appreciate you. We love your support. Please stay tuned for the Anne Scotland Show, the podcast maestro. She's going to be talking about the art of storytelling. So that's it for today, and have a blessed day. Bye for now.
The last few days have been really amazing. I had a trainer course from the British School of Etiquette.
And I must say it's been one of the best decisions I've ever made, and one of the best investments I've made in my own training and development.
Now, words alone will not describe the transformation and the positive path that I have traveled with the British School of Etiquette.
I found really, I learned a lot from the lessons this time I came.
The last few days with the British School of Etiquette have been fantastic.
And what I've learned now is really beyond my expectations.
This is the most rewarding experience and the best investment I've made this year.
It was just great. I learned so much, and when I go back to Belgium I will incorporate a lot of it into my day-to-day life and business.
It's been absolutely wonderful for the whole week that we were here.
I feel transformed, and I feel like blowing a trumpet and tell people, come and do this school, this class is the best, this is the best school ever.
You should take it. It's just, it will change your life immediately.
I am now able to teach other people how to bring the best of them.
Thank you.
Thank you, BS.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.